What's up, guys? Let me tell you today one of the coolest stories from the Old Testament, and it is the story about Gideon. This is a story that I've been studying a lot the past couple of weeks, and honestly, it has helped me a lot to increase my faith. And not just to increase my faith, but also to trust more in God. Sometimes we think we trust in God, but this story has truly helped me to understand that sometimes I don't, and that I need to trust more in Him. So let me tell you about Gideon. If you don't know the story, pay attention to this because it's gonna help you a lot. So back in the day, you got the Midianites. So they were gonna attack the Israelites, and Gideon, an angel appeared to Gideon and told him that he needed to defend the Israelites, and he was gonna be the one that freed the Israelites from the Midianites. Now Gideon was like, dude, I'm just a regular man. I'm not very special. I don't have a lot of talents, a lot of gifts. I'm not very strong, but anyway, he just obeyed the order from the angel, and he was like, you know what? Let's get an army. So he gathered 32,000 people to go fight against the Midianites. Now the Midianites, they were 135,000 in total, so it's quite a gap. Now the cool thing about this is that God told Gideon that He was going to provide a way for the Israelites to be delivered from the Midianites, and Gideon didn't know how. He was just trying to move with what he was told to. Now, in one of his revelations, the Lord told Gideon, "Hey, you have a lot of soldiers, and I want you to send home all the soldiers that they're filled with fear, doubt, and that maybe are kind of cowards." And Gideon was like, "Okay, yeah, sure, we'll do." So anyway, 22,000 soldiers went home, and only 10,000 stayed to fight. Now, again, there were already 135,000 versus 32,000. Now, 22,000 just left, so there's only 10,000. And that left 13 Midianites to one Israelite soldier. And Gideon was like, holy crap, dude, we lost more than half of our army. You know what? Okay, it's fine. At least we have soldiers that are willing to fight, willing to stick, to stand up against the Midianites, so we'll figure it out. It was actually like a big test to Gideon's faith because, he just lost a bunch of soldiers. Now, he receives another revelation from the Lord, and the Lord is like, you know what? Your army is too big, and we're going to do another test. And Gideon's like, what are you talking about, dude? It's already 13 to 1. It's 135,000 versus 10,000. He's like, no, it's too big. We gotta make a few changes. So he gives Gideon another test, and he's like, I want you to go to this thing with water, like kind of like a river, like a fountain, yeah, like a pond with water. And he said, I want you to divide your soldiers in two groups. One group is gonna be one that they kneel down and they get water from their hands, and then they drink it. No, actually, it was they kneel down to drink the water like a. They kneel down to drink the water, and then the second group is that they grab the water with their hands and they just drink it like this. And he said to divide those two groups of people, and whoever would kneel and drink the water versus the people that the soldiers that would drink from their hands, the first group would go home. So it ended up leaving only 300 soldiers stayed. Everybody else left because everybody else was in the first group that they would kneel to drink the water, and only 300 soldiers stayed. That was a ratio of 400 soldiers, 400 Midianites to one Israelite soldier, which it was insane. The odds were so against the Israelites. But this is the cool thing. God wanted the odds to be so bad and so negative into one side that only God could deliver them. That it had to be God. It had to be a miracle. That was the only way for the Israelites to beat the Midianites. You can only give glory to God, and the credit, it was only to God, because there was literally not a single another way that the Israelites could win. The odds were just too big, too much against them. So anyway, guess what happened? The Israelites end up winning. And it's very cool because God told Gideon so many times, I'm going to give you the victory. I just want you to trust me. And I admire Gideon, his faith a lot because, me personally, if I was there, I would have doubted a lot. I would have questioned a lot. And he did question a lot of things, but God kept giving him reassurance that, hey, I promise you, you're going to win. Just trust me. And I think about why God did that. I think in life sometimes we have too many resources that we trust on, that we rely on. We have too many people, and we're too comfortable. That sometimes we don't see big miracles in our life because we don't have the need to trust in God. And sometimes it takes an extreme situation like Gideon to prove to us and to prove to God, to show us that, hey, this is what I'm capable of doing. This is who I am. This is my power as your creator. But it takes an extreme situation like that when you literally don't have anything else. And the only thing you have is your trust in him. To be honest, guys, I've been in situations like that. That I had two options: either make it work or lose everything. And I can promise you that God always delivered me. Always. Always. Because trust in him and faith in him is the only thing I had. I want to invite you to dream bigger. I want to invite you to think bigger, to set bigger goals, to aim bigger. Because once you shoot for the stars and you think so big, the only thing you have left is your faith and trust in God. Because you need him. You need him. I think sometimes we play super small and we think so small, and we don't even show faith in our goals that we don't need God, because it's so attainable, so realistic. And that's why most people they never end up achieving amazing things, because they never set amazing goals in their lives. Everything that we said is pretty realistic, is pretty reasonable, is very likely to happen, is very possible. But the biggest miracles in my life is when I was put out in a situation like that I didn't have anything else, and that I just needed to trust God, and somehow I made it work. I don't know how, but I just made it work. And that's the cool thing, is that you don't have to know the how. Just like Gideon, he didn't know how he was going to beat the Midianites, but God assured him, you're going to win. The victory is yours, and I'm going to give it to you. Just trust me. And it's a very interesting analogy for life. We want to know everything. We want to know the ins and the in and outs of all this stuff, and we want to know the specifics. But sometimes we don't know everything. And sometimes we just have to keep walking and trusting in the Lord that he will deliver us, just as he did with Gideon when he was fighting the Midianites. So look, I don't know everything. And there's a lot of stuff in my life. Honestly, there's a stage in my life that I'm going through right now, a season that I'm like that. I don't know how I'm going to make it work, but I just trust that God will deliver me. And it's a very stressful situation, but if you're there, I want to invite you to keep trusting in him. Because faith reaps miracles. I don't know how. I don't know how. But I know that he makes everything work. Everything work. So remember this. With the right attitude, facts don't matter. When you're in the good frequency, when you are with the right faith, when you're focused on him, and with the right trust, whatever is happening around you doesn't actually matter. Because God is so much powerful than all what we see around us. And sometimes we forget what he's capable of doing until we're faced with an extreme situation and we're reminded of what our God is capable of achieving and doing and creating and making happening and stuff. So anyway, be like Gideon. Trust in God and trust in good things to come. See you guys later.